Osama bin Javed is there. Following developments, he's been speaking to Qatar's Prime Minister and Foreign Minister, Mohammed bin Abdulrahman Al Thani.
Last time I saw you, you were actually at 10 p.m. at the Divan during a crisis, which you had made your home. Yeah. This time around, these talks lasted for more than 18 hours. We heard that progress have been made, technical teams have been devised. Where are we going forward from here? How does this work?
Well, I think that, first of all, that this round of negotiation, it was important, very important to take place as soon as the memorandum is signed. And the purpose of the objective of these meetings is to lay the foundation for the negotiation moving forward. Let us remember that the memorandum that's been signed is to create the right environment and the right framework for the negotiation to take place, and to stop the war and stop the consequences of the war and the impact on the security of the region and the global economy. And that's been achieved. Now, the hard work is started yesterday, and we wanted to make sure that there is a strong foundation is laid in partnership with Pakistan. Yesterday, we proposed all the ideas being discussed between the delegations, and we came up with the whole framework for the technical teams to continue. And we want to make sure that, since given the delicacy of that issue, that the process is institutional and well established, and hopefully resilient from any external factor that can affect,
including Lebanon.
We hope so. That's why the deconfliction mechanism being agreed upon.
Now, the other thing is that there are many spoilers of peace that we've heard about. There is also a video about you circulating on social media where there are allegations from some sectors of the media that you snubbed the vice president, you did not greet him in the meeting.
I saw that. Look, I mean, at the end of the day, all of us, we are human beings. And I'm like any one of you. I was spending few hours actually with the vice president, just few seconds before I entered the room. And I didn't actually, I didn't see the Prime Minister of Pakistan at all since he arrived. So I wanted to say hello. I went to say hello to them, and I wasn't expecting the press over there. And they just made the issue too big. Vice President is his leadership actually throughout the process brought us here under the leadership of President Trump. We've been meeting together the whole day. Since the morning we were together. We continued until we finished at 2 o'clock in the morning, and US is our partners. And by the way, whether we have something between us and any other country, or personally between me or any other one, I would never do it by passing by without saying hello or shake his hand, whatever between me and him.
When do you expect to see him again?
Well, hopefully in a couple of weeks, if we make good progress on the technical, then we will move on.
Joining us now from San Diego, California, is Henry Ensher. He's a former US ambassador and Deputy Assistant Secretary of State. Welcome back, Ambassador. J.D. Vance said they had a very good day of negotiations on Sunday. As we heard, the mediators, Qatar and Pakistan, said that the summit was positive, constructive, and one that made encouraging progress. Given your knowledge of diplomatic negotiations and also diplomatic language, what's your assessment? Was it a good day of negotiations?
So that's an unusually positive sort of assessment. Diplomats will speak of frank and cordial and use words like that, but we don't tend to use the term good or bad. So this is an encouraging sign, I guess. Other language that I just heard from the Prime Minister and from your correspondents all indicate that this is going to be a lengthy process. The important part from both sides' perspective, I mean the Iranian side and the US side, is that the Straits of Hormuz are open, more or less, and that ships and money is flowing. That's the main thing. Everybody knows, I think, that the nuclear issues are going to take a long time to work through.
What are we to make of the apparently contradictory statements that are coming out as well? President Trump and J.D. Vance say one thing, Iran's chief negotiator says another. How do we get a handle on what actually is happening and who's telling the truth?
So I think you have to look at the purpose behind each statement, and the major purpose for each side in speaking publicly is always to their domestic audience, right? And their domestic politics. So both sides are very interested to show that somehow they've gotten the upper hand, or at least that they're not being taken advantage of. So I think that accounts for the contradiction. I think the only way that we can determine what actually is going on is when money begins to move and when things begin to happen on the ground. So, for example, I did look today, and yes, ships went through the Straits of Hormuz, including oil tankers. This means that money is flowing and both sides are getting what they want.
And ought there to be restrictions on how that money is spent by Iran? Should it have to buy fruit and vegetables from American farmers?
So a couple things we said there. One is the MOU contemplates that. After all, it does talk about the necessity for both sides to agree on procedures to release the money. On the other side, it does also say that it's up to Iran to decide what to do with that money. So clearly possible. I will just point out that money is fungible after all. And so even if money is being used strictly to support American farmers, to buy things from American farmers, it means that other funds available to Iran could be used for something else. So it's a good thing for America if its farmers are selling agricultural products, but Iran is getting what it wants, which is access to more money.
What difference is the release of that money going to make for Iran? Is J.D. Vance right when he says that we're rebuilding a new Middle East, but we haven't built the house yet?
Wow, this is just terrifying, honestly. For somebody who's worked in the region for a long time and has heard lots of American politicians talk about the transformation of the Middle East, this is deeply scary. And honestly, if I may say, the vice president, he served in the Marines in Iraq, and he should know how difficult a task that is. I think we'd be much better off focusing on the specifics that can be achieved based on the shared interests of both parties. And if I may say, the shared interests of both parties, keep the straits open, keep commerce flowing, and begin to address the nuclear issue again. That's enough. The high-flown language transforming the Middle East, no, just no.
Good to talk to you again, Ambassador. Many thanks indeed to Henry Ensher there in San Diego.